Many step into foster care with the expectation that their love is enough to heal these kids. But it doesn't usually take long for reality to sink in. These special kids need a lot more than just love. Children from hard places come with a lot of unknowns, unknown hurts, unknown memories, unknown triggers. And as you face these potential landmines, how do you equip yourself? And how do you equip your family for the journey ahead? Let's learn how to adapt your parenting style to incorporate trauma-informed practices. Anyone who has cared for children from hard places has likely seen the outward effects of trauma. Oftentimes, dealing with these big behaviors can be so overwhelming, you're left too tired to address the real issues. If that sounds like you, allow me to introduce you to Trust-Based Relational Intervention, TBRI. Developed by Dr. Karen Purvis and Dr. David Cross, TBRI aims to create deep, lasting change by meeting the needs behind the behavior. Backed by years of research and studies, it's proven effective not only in changing behavior, but in healing wounds at their source. In this series, we'll explore practical tools and techniques you can implement in your home. But first, let's explore why this approach is necessary. Think back to the day your child first entered your home. You welcomed them in with compassion and empathy. You were giving them a fresh start. In return, maybe you expected them to respond with gratitude and eager obedience. The first few days or weeks may have even gone pretty smoothly, but as your family returned to normal life, the newest member began to stick out, and now their normal behavior may look vastly different from the rest of the family. The first goal of this parenting approach is to shift your perspective. I know the behaviors you're seeing can be so frustrating. In the midst of yet another meltdown, you may start to wonder, what's wrong with this child? Rather than, what happened to them? I'd like you to imagine life from your child's perspective for just a moment. Up until now, every adult in your life has proven untrustworthy and unreliable, even the ones who claimed to love you. You've often been hungry, dirty, scared, and alone. Then one day, a stranger took you away from the only world you'd ever known and thrust you into a strange place with more strange people who do strange things like wash their sheets and hug each other. Suddenly, you were expected to follow a set of rules you've never been taught and trust people you've never even met. On top of that, everything around you now smells different, looks different, it even feels different. Your entire life completely changed overnight. How do you think you might act? This is what makes trust-based relational intervention so important and so effective. It's parenting that reflects the way God parents us, with compassion, unconditional love, and enough patience to let us try again and again until we get it right. This approach is not a cure-all for temper tantrums. It's a door to deep healing. So, what exactly is trauma, and how does it impact a child? Dr. Bessel van der Kolk defines trauma as the adverse effects of prolonged and repeated exposure to extreme stress, abuse, or neglect. When abuse and neglect is perpetuated by a caregiver, the resulting trauma can damage a child's ability to form healthy relationships. Their ability to trust safe and loving adults is severely damaged. TBRI considers the impact of trauma on the whole child, their brain, biology, behavior, body, and beliefs. These are known as the 5 B's of relational trauma. By taking these effects into consideration, you are becoming a trauma-informed parent, understanding that every behavior is the language of unmet needs. Your job as the caregiver is to get curious. Ask yourself, what's this behavior communicating? What's the need behind this behavior? Is my child hungry? Are they tired? Scared? You need to play detective and start to interpret behavior as the first steps in meeting their needs. So, what does this look like in reality? Let's say you see a behavior like defiance at bedtime, and you suspect it's rooted in fear. You may assume that your child needs safety or control. It isn't enough for you to know your child is safe in your home. They need to feel safe in order to heal and grow. When a child begins to feel safe, they can finally begin to trust. And trust opens the door to learning, both for you and your child. As your child feels safe, they will learn to express their needs without the big behaviors. TBRI teaches 3 primary ways of addressing a child's needs called the principles of TBRI: connecting, empowering, and correcting. The connecting principle begins the healing process for the relational wounds at the root of behavioral challenges. The empowering principle promotes growth and learning by meeting their physical, emotional, and environmental needs. The correcting principle reshapes behavior while maintaining unwavering acceptance of the child. Each of these principles comes with strategies to use as you interact with your child. Again, the goal of these strategies is to help your child feel safe and trust your guidance as their caregiver. Connection is at the very core of TBRI. We often say in this space, children who are hurt in relationship heal in relationship, meaning the trauma caused by unhealthy relationships can only heal within the context of a healthy relationship. The connection principle lays the framework for a healthy relationship between you and your child. A parent who pursues connection effectively says to their child, "I like you and I care about your feelings. Your needs and safety matter to me." Feeling safe and wanted allows that child's brain to make the shift from survival mode to learning mode. Through connection, a parent becomes a trustworthy leader in the eyes of that child. Next, we'll work on empowering them. Empowering a child essentially means setting them up for success, ensuring their brain and body have what they need to operate at their highest level. The empowering principle does this by meeting their physical needs. Think of it like caring for a plant. You wouldn't expect a plant to bloom and grow in a cold, dark closet. It needs the proper amount of sunlight and humidity. Likewise, we can only expect children to grow and thrive with the right amounts of food, exercise, sleep, and stimulation. As your child experiences new levels of happiness, comfort, and energy, they learn how to identify their own needs and how to help get them met appropriately. When you recognize that a child is hungry and respond by providing food, you empower them to do the same for themselves. Likewise, when we see and meet a child's environmental and emotional needs, we pave the way for self-regulation, the ability to calm themselves by themselves. Once you've established a connection and empowered your child's body and mind, you're ready to begin correcting. You might be tempted to jump straight to correction out of frustration, exhaustion, or even out of habit. Many of us were raised by a parent with a my way or the highway type of approach to discipline. Maybe you even thrived in that environment, but a history of abuse or neglect can drastically change the context for how a child receives correction. Without taking the time to build a connection and empower your child first, you're unlikely to see any lasting positive changes in behavior. The correcting principle is meant to reshape a child's behaviors while maintaining a deep connection to the child. Successful correction begins with your perspective as a parent. Learn to view your child's behaviors not as an I won't, but as an I can't, understanding they simply don't know how yet. No one has ever taught them. Your goal is not to fix the behavior, but to teach your child how to interpret and react appropriately to a variety of situations. There is hope. God can bring profound healing to the children in your care. TBRI is not a magic formula or a quick fix, but consistently practice, it will bring lasting behavioral change. By learning about connection, empowerment, and correction, you are investing in your child's future. In the words of Dr. Karen Purvis, when you connect to the heart of a child, everything is possible. Now that you understand the theory behind these 3 principles, you're ready to dive deeper into the strategies and practical steps that will help bring joy and laughter back to your home.